Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting DuckmanCycles VW Garage. We're back today working on some small engine stuff, or at least getting some stuff sorted out. It's been a couple of weeks since I really recorded a really good video because it's been raining or it's been too entirely hot to do anything. It's just been absolutely miserable out here. And you can tell just by looking over here at the shed, look at how much things have grown. Everything up here on this shed has just grown completely out of control. Down here, you can see where some of the leafy things are. There were plants over here that were as high as the door handle. So with the rain and the heat, and it's about 90 right now, with the humidity really high, it's absolutely disgusting out here. At least it's overcast. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be out here recording because it's just been entirely too hot. But today, we're working on the DoodleBastard. The DoodleBastard is here in the shed, sitting right there. So we're going to pull this sucker out. We're going to get a good look over it. A lot of people have been requesting, you know, hey, Duckman, when are you going to bring that thing back? We want to see it. Even the HIPA Store has been asking. And who's the HIPA Store, you say? Well,
the HIPA Store is a company that sells parts for outdoor power equipment such as chainsaws, lawnmowers, weed whackers, and even some parts for go-karts. But for this time of the year, June, it marks the beginning of the hurricane season, and I know here in Florida I'm getting my generator, chainsaws, and other power equipment ready just in case. But if you're not in an area that gets hit by storms, well, I bet you still need to cut your lawn. So if any of your outdoor power equipment is giving you grief, check out the HIPA Store for all the parts that you need. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store for sponsoring this video.
alright, it's not too hard to get in there. But there's just a lot of stuff in front of that thing, including my KT-196 go-kart, which again, people keep asking about. They want to see this thing out. I've been promising a speed contest on this thing for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Jeez, it's been over a year now at this point. But anyway, I wanted to run the go-karts around some more with Ranchero threw it to me, but that's just life. He's been tied up with things. He's got a family and kids, and I gotta do the solo go-kart thing because I am a bachelor. Put my miter saw out of the way here. Get that out of there. This blanket out the way. I think the go-kart will probably pull right out. Although the tires are going to be flat. Why is everything so rusted in there? It just doesn't leak. Anyway, here we go. Grab. Oh, wow. There it goes. Got a rat shit on it. It's definitely been in there for a while. Rats here are obnoxious. I got a trap that I set up for them, which has been highly effective. I caught 46 rats in the last month. Alright. I'll show you the trap later in the video. This video is going to be a very big, heavy summary video talking about some of the other things that are going on here. Got some shock absorbers for mopeds, some steel, a horn button. Pick this stuff up, and we'll just stick it right in here for the time being. There we go. And there is the DoodleBastard. Alright, should be pretty easy to get out, even if the tires are flat. It's not very heavy, so I got a Volkswagen floor pan pushing against it. So if I pull that out, I think all this crap's going to fall down. I'm going to put the camera down. That wasn't nearly as bad as I expected it to be, but nonetheless, things did fall down. I needed both hands to pull it out, so floor pans are there. Talk about that real quick. I secured 3 floor pans, not 2, but 3. Don had a double of one side. That's Decklid Don, for those of you that are curious. And I was going to put the floor pans together on this Beetle chassis, which is on top of this bus chassis, to produce some kind of monster Beetle. Of course, things are still pending on that. Originally, it was going to be a squareback with the back chopped off of it and turned into a pickup truck. Squareback's not with me anymore. It now belongs to a friend of mine. It may find its way back home, and I still may end up doing it, but currently not on the list of things to do. But there's the DoodleBastard. I can't tell you how many times over the years I've been offered for people to buy it. And I remind people, every time I get a video of this thing up on the internet, it makes money. So for me to sell it, I'm selling my business. So it ain't going to be cheap. So if somebody really, really wanted it, you're going to have to agree to the right price. Now, it is dirty as hell right now. Last I remember, there was a leak in the gas tank on the top of it. One of these seams somehow was leaking. I'm probably going to need to break the welder out and, just wherever it's leaking from. I don't even remember where. But we'll fill it with water. I wonder what it smells like. Let go. Oh, looks like that's ruined. That's just a seal from a Volkswagen. This is actually a Volkswagen cap and a Volkswagen opening from an old rusted tank. Tank smells like nothing. I guess I dried it out before I parked it. That's good. It smells like absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Good. And the battery's currently not in it. Last I recall, it fell and the battery ripped the wires out of it and requires a little bit of repair, so we'll get to that. It's going to be part of maybe this video, maybe the next video. I'm certainly not going to be able to ride it with the leaky cap, because this thing will piss gas everywhere without the cap seal on it. So we definitely need one of those. Maybe I can make one out of something. I mean, it's just a rubber ring after all, right? Anyway, let's get this thing out of the shed. Let's get a better look at it. Well, before we put anything away, I figure we'll have a quick look at this. It's been 6 months or so since I've been in here. Gas is still clear. Still smells fresh. That's surprising. I would have expected that to have smelled awful by now. I shut the fuel off and I ran it dry, which means, here you go, bubble, bubble, bubble. It will probably start up. I'll turn that back off. Choke is already on. See, where's my run switch? Oh, that's right, we put it over here. I don't know if that's right. I don't remember which position it's supposed to be in. There we go. Pull start's way over here. Just curious, will it start? I might be in the wrong position. Try that again in the other one. Alright. Set you up right here, guys. Might have to give it a little throttle. Well, I know I ran it dry the last go around. Maybe it's not going to start. No, nothing. Big old fat zero. Yeah, nothing's gummed up that I can see. I'm going to pull off the fuel line here, which is hardened a bit. There we go. Just dribble a little fuel down in there. That's what the ethanol does to this fuel line stuff. It gets hard as a rock. Okay. Just slide back together. See if that makes it fire. Okay, well it runs. I did run it dry, but there may still be a little bit of fuel left in the carburetor that gummed up. So, okay. And matter of fact, I hear somebody else running a go-kart or mini bike or something around the neighborhood, which is the other reason I want to get that together. I want to show them up. As you guys remember, what I hit. 57 miles an hour on that, was it? Where the stock ones usually do like 20, 25 with a kid on it. But anyway. Alright, let's pull this, shove it back into the garage. Looks like it caught the chicken cage. So I got a little bit of a ratcheting situation going on because the door is holding it back. Alright. Alright. Finally got him completely out. There's the go-kart. Gonna be locked away once again. There we go. Alright. Let's bring this up front. Alright, there it is. It's been a couple years at least, well, 1 year at least, maybe a year and a half since it's seen the light of day, or at least direct sunlight. I gotta get this thing worked on. All the battery wires are all ripped out of it. Like I said, when it fell down, it's just the battery came out of it, and it broke everything off. So everything needs to be fixed on it. Not happy about that at all. Good news is, gas tank didn't smell. I mean, it's clean. I mean, it's dry, completely dry. That's good news. I'm probably going to take the line off, fill it up with water, and you go away. Why you gotta be obnoxious when I'm trying to talk on camera? And we'll get this thing sorted out. We'll go inside and we'll check the battery to see if it's any good. If it's good, well, maybe we'll put some new connectors on there and see if we can get this thing running today. But if the battery's bad, and I got a feeling it might be, that's going to put the kibosh on these plans, and we'll just have to turn to something else. So, let's go check that battery. Here are my batteries right here on the battery tender. Oh, look, phone charger. I wonder what that's doing up there. Anyway, this is from the SV650. It also happens to be the same battery that I built the DoodleBastard around. I figure it'd be convenient. I can only ride one bike at a time, so why not pull batteries out in between them? So that's the way I set that one up initially. Behind it is a lawnmower battery for Dad's lawnmower. I bought a new one way back when in 2020. And both of these sit on the same battery tender. Every couple weeks I switch them between. This one looks like it's still good. Now this one, hopefully, is still good too. This is the expensive one. Oh, wait a minute, I got nothing. Oh, no, came on a second. Maybe I have a bad connection here. Try it again. Whoa, only a moment. What happened? What happened? Oh, there it is. No, that's not good. I'm gonna have to get a voltmeter out here to confirm, but everything's flying apart here. Hang on a second here. I really want to see if this battery's bad or not. The voltmeter's just out of reach. I gotta go inside to get it. I don't feel like going inside. Yeah, it's no good. That's a damn shame. This is gonna run me about $100. That's going to put the real dampener on the plans for the DoodleBastard today, because if that battery is not working properly, and it's been on charge, I mean, geez, I just took it off. Now I might as well just say fuck that battery and just plug this one in then and keep this thing on tinder permanently. Yeah, red light, charge. Oops, green light. Okay. Let's do what it's supposed to do. Alright, well, I'm going to shit can that one, I guess. There's the connectors that broke off. So I need to replace those connectors on that battery. No, you can't solder them on. No, they get hot and the solder melts, so they have to be crimped on. Alright, well, fuck it. Well, I guess meanwhile, we'll start talking about some of the projects that are going on here, since we can't work on this thing. Doing some electrical work on this. The turn signals on the front here were completely goofed up. As I was saying, and I was so rudely interrupted by the camera deciding that it was out of space on its SD card. Yeah, you know it, buddy. The turn signals were wired backwards here. One side, the parking light and the signal was actually switched. On this side, it was switched, but up in the harness somewhere, so I had to fix that up in the junctions, and it sorted itself out after that. In addition, and I'm starting to feel raindrops because I heard some thunder on the horizon. It's about to rain. Turn signal on this side was not working. Turned out the wire was lost down inside the fender, so I fetched the wire back out, reconnected where it's supposed to be, made sure it was crimped properly so that it's nice and tight when you slide it on the connector, and it's good to go. The oil light on this car did not work, and I traced the wire up to the front, made sure the gauge was connected properly, and I touched the oil sensor wire right here to ground. If you do that, ow, that was my head, the gauge light should come on, and the great thing about a square back is you can actually see it from here. So, bink, bink, came on, okay, it's just a sender. I told the owner about that, and he'll be replacing that. It's real easy to take care of. In addition, it had a 009 distributor on it. It doesn't anymore. Now it's got a proper 034. I'm working on setting the timing, and I'll hook the vacuum up to it after that. Right now, like I said, it's starting to rain on me. So I'm going to start closing some of this stuff down. We'll come back to that later, that's for sure. Otherwise, up in here, I replaced the turn signal switch. Well, he replaced the turn signal switch. All the wiring on this is all the wrong colors. So I took a little reverse engineering to make this work. I don't know who makes these things. I tried to find an MP harness diagram, and there isn't one. So it took me a few minutes of reverse engineering to figure out what wire goes to where and get them sorted out and hooked up properly. In addition, the high beam, low beam now works, and that did not work before when it came in here, of course, because that's part of that switch. But one of the reasons it didn't work, and you're going to love this, is because it had a 5-pin dimmer relay. And the dimmer relays on a Volkswagen, on some of the older ones, usually just 4. What does the 5th pin do? The 5th pin provides power. Now, on the older ones, the power came from you turning the lights on. If you turn the lights on, it would then energize the relay. On the newer ones, and I don't know what year they changed the cutoff on it, but it allowed it to be energized so that way you could just pull your high beam like this, and it'll flick them on when you're driving, so you can say to somebody, you know, hey, it's your turn to go, buddy, flash, flash. Otherwise, in the older cars, you had to turn your headlights on first, then pull it. Otherwise, it didn't work. And that's the way Ruby is, actually. So that's the way that one functions. That's one of those things that I never realized it, so it's really easy to retrofit an extra wire into that, and that's what I did on here. You can see the little red wire that's here in the fuse box. It's only about 3 inches long. It's hooked up to the dimmer relay, so now it effectively, well, I thought it did. You have to have the key on. Here it is. A flash, and of course if you have it on, it'll stay high beam, low beam. You can't see it. I'm trying to show you the reflection in the back of my car, but yeah, they're working. So that's good. Signals work. Good. There's the oil light out like I was telling you. Working in both directions. Everything's good. I also fixed the horn. The horn, this is another one of those Type 3-isms. Normally on a Type 3 you have a little tiny like motorcycle horn, which requires very, very low amperage, and for some reason, whatever reason is, they stuff it under the hood. And in my opinion, if you put your horn under the hood in a Volkswagen, which has no grill, it's going to block the sound. But that's the way they did it, so that's whoever owned this car previous. Put the two horns, and these are aftermarket horns like you'd put in a large car, underneath the hood. And when you push the horn button, it wasn't working before because the horn button had reverse polarity on the switch, and that was causing it to ground itself out, which caused the horn to stay wide open. But what it did was it made the wires hot without sounding the horns. You could just kind of hear a thunk, and when you release the wire, thunk, thunk, thunk. It would never actually beep. And again, like I said, the wires are getting extremely hot. That tells me they were not getting adequate voltage to be able to light off. So being that it's a dual horn circuit, and I know that Volkswagens use little fine wires and stuff on this, I decided to run a new wire all the way from the fuse box up to here to a relay. And the relay is now controlled by that horn button, which now actuates both the horns individually by a nice heavy gauge power wire, which, as you heard, makes the horn very loud. Especially since, like I said, those are big car horns, and when they beep, yeah, they are really, really loud. So he's going to be very happy with that. I got to put the screws back into this stuff, and there's some wires I found under here that don't correspond to anything in the wiring diagram. So I just capped them off to make sure they don't touch anything. With everything working, I don't know what the hell they're going to go to. There was also one in the engine compartment I found that was like that too, that was just dangling, so I just capped them off. If everything's working, like I said, just cover them, just cap them off. So that's where we're at. Lastly, we got this thing. This has been here now for a year. I'm trying to help the owner to sell this one, and well, it got stuck here for an awful while because it's had problems. And right now it's got issues running. It doesn't want to start. It's really hard to start. When I get it started, it runs okay. It just doesn't have power, which is weird. Timing's fine, carburetor's clean, got good gas, got, you know, a hot spark. I mean, I went through everything. Valves are adjusted properly. Like I said, every single thing I did on this. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't checked the compression. Now, we do know that in the past, this thing had a sunk float, and it was causing the engine to flood itself. Now, I don't know how long the owner was running it that way, but when I dumped the oil out of it, I got about a gallon of gas out of it. And you're only supposed to have 2.5 quarts, something like that, 2 3/4 quarts of oil, but a gallon of black gas came out of it. So it had been running with gas in the engine for a long time, which doesn't do very good things to the bearings nor the rings. I got a feeling that it's suffering from low compression. We're going to talk about that. I found my tester recently. It disappeared for a while, but I found it in the garage. And we're going to get that hooked up and find out what exactly is wrong with this thing. In addition to that, we're going to sign off the video letting you know that after Easter, when we had that meteor shower, this thing got hit by a meteor. I'm not even kidding. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video. So for now, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I have a video. Check out DuckShit.net for all my social media links. And I guess we'll be signing off just a minute. I'm going to say goodbye to the babies. Look how big they've gotten. They've gotten really, really big. I mean, my word, they're big. And I forgot to close their cage earlier, too. And I went inside for an hour for lunch, and I came back out, and they were all missing. They all turned up in the yard eventually when I came out shaking new food, of course. But, yeah, they should be good to go. They should be good to go now. I'm just glad they all turned up. I was scared. For 4 birds to be missing all at the same time, it was very frightening. Anyway, like I said, signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Alright, and I found the little one. There she is way over there. You see her? Dead center. What are you doing, little one? Come on, I'm going to bring you and put you with your mommy. I don't want you to get hurt. No, I'm just glad to know you're safe. You're over here away from all the boys. Alright, we're going to collect her and get her inside. Again, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.